So like even if I use up the money in my bank account, you know how crazy spendings can be.
I get
And,
you. I get you.
You know, at the end of the month, I'm like, wait, I still have money for food, so I have them right there in my savings in cash.
To me,
So that's what I do.
I go cashless everywhere. So
Oh yeah, for me, like I get scared.
yeah, I'm like this cashless kind of guy. Goes everywhere, just taps the card and be like, okay, spend, 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 spend.
That's so dangerous.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
that's
it's not
that's where-
recommended, guys. Please do not follow, but it's dangerous.
That's where you know you have to keep track of your spending so you don't go overboard.
Yeah,
okay?
that's why I started keeping track.
Yeah. Hi guys, welcome back to the new episode of GRADUAN Go podcast. My name is Mia, and with me today we have a fellow member of Team GRADUAN, Desi. You wanna introduce yourself to our viewers and tell us a little bit about what you do in GRADUAN?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me to the podcast first of all. Hi everyone, my name is Desi and I'm 23 years old and I'm an application developer in GRADUAN and I'm also an entrepreneur by myself.
There you go. Not only does he works full time at GRADUAN, he's also a businessman. So that's why I think Desi is the perfect person to talk about our topic today,
Hopefully.
which is how young adults manage their finances. Are you ready, Desi?
I hope so. I give good insights, but I'm not sure.
Right. So moving on, the first question I have for you today is: when did you first realize that you had to learn to manage your finances?
Oh, that's like way back when I was like, maybe when I was 15, 16.
That's early.
Yeah. I mean, like during my secondary schools, I started to know that how important is money to our life. And then that's when I started noticing myself that I should start managing my own funds,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how it pretty much started.
I see. I kind of get that because that's the age where I realized that besides the allowance that my parents give me, I also kind of want some to like fund my hobbies
Yeah. I mean,
and
like,
interests on the side, right?
yeah, during schooling days, what do you expect? You get like $10, 20 bucks.
Yeah, for like food in school,
Yeah,
and food
and
in school is like 4 ringgit.
Yeah.
Ish.
So, and then you start to plan out things with your friends like, okay, let's go out today after school and have a lunch together and stuff like that. And, that's when you go over the limit of what your parents gives. Yeah, and things eventually starts to pile up and you be like, I'm out of fun, guys. So what should I do?
That's where you get that realization that you need to be
True.
smart with your money.
Yeah. That's when I slowly realized. And then moving it on, what made me realize more is when I stepped into my university.
Yeah.
So back when I started my university, I was going into my diploma studies. So my parents, I mean, they can support, but then they eventually just said like, I'm just gonna give you 500 and you gotta manage the whole thing by yourself. You gotta pay your phone bills, you gotta eat your food, and you gotta manage your entertainment.
And
I mean, like,
sometimes, for education as well, you have to buy textbooks. Sometimes it's needed.
Yeah.
Textbooks and notes and stuff.
thank God my parents paid for all of it, and I only had to pay my expenses like phone bills and foods and etc. But you are a teenager back then. You're just stepping to the university, and you're gonna be like, I'm gonna have fun with my friends right now. This is the period that I'm gonna do it. Yeah, and like eventually that's when I started noticing, because imagine staying in KL, 500, you gotta cover your food, you gotta cover all your expenses, man.
It's a lot, yeah. Plus, there's that feeling, FOMO. If you see your friends going out, you can't be the only one staying in. Like, oh, sorry guys, my allowance isn't enough for all these like movie dates, all these lunch and dinner dates.
I felt that back then, and then like I slowly eventually built up myself, and I started building my financial background lah.
I think that's a good age to start realizing that you need to manage your money better, and like to start thinking about how else can you earn money besides the usual allowance that you get from your parents, right?
Yeah,
because that's a good age for people to get part-timing jobs as well.
Yes,
if you can fit it into your schedule.
Thank God my schedule wasn't packed, and then my mind is mostly onto business. How do I make money instead of how do I save money?
Oh, okay. So how did you do it at the time?
It's not like a straight. I went into success. I was like downfall so many times. So when my parents used to give me 500, I just eat for 200. So the balance 300, I start financing into things. So that's when I started going into industries like trading, cryptocurrency, and many things out there. I mean, like there's many
That's- yeah.
opportunities out there. So I started exploring one by one. I mean, I wouldn't say everything made me into a successful entrepreneur. I did go into a downfall, a huge loss, and then it took time for me to recover. Yeah, so that's when
I mean, it's all a learning process anyways.
yes, as you say, it's a learning process. So that's when I started building my financial background very strong. I think it's strong enough for me right now.
Yeah.
Lah.
Yeah, I guess those are like necessary steps for you to learn to manage your
Yes.
finances as well. You need to like have some you need to struggle at one point and
Yeah.
then learn from your mistakes, and then you realize, oh yeah, this way doesn't work for me. I gotta find another way that
You're correct.
works. Yeah. So while you were going through all that, what were the most important financial lessons that you learned while growing up?
I would say what is the most important thing is like don't spend unnecessarily and don't spend to be rich. You know, there's a quote where don't try to be rich when you're not rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stick to that. Because when back then, I would honestly say I was like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to get like, you know, my friends were like, okay, my circles were, most of them were like born rich, I would say.
Yeah.
Gold-
they
golden
have
spoon,
very
yeah.
comfortable lifestyle.
Yes. Back then I used to drive a Proton Iris. So my friends used to drive a Mercedes, a BMW, and
Oh
stuff
wow.
to universities.
Yeah.
So you know the comparison of both of it, right? So you seem down there, and what you want to do is, I want to be them. How do I be them? I can't be affording a car back then, right? So how do I afford it? Lifestyle.
yeah.
So I try to get things like them. So it's like, okay, once they get a Gucci, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get that. Somehow I'm gonna get that.
Like you don't know how, but
Somehow I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
So that's when I started spending more and more and more. So at one point, I started realizing that why am I so stupid? Why do I spend so much on the things
you
that
don't need them. You just kind of want them to fit in or like to
Yes.
relate to your friends.
So I was like, oh man, this is very wrong. I mean, my finances are going too much on an aspect where I spent at one point, I was like over 1,000 ringgit in a month just to fulfill my dreamy entertainment land, you know?
That's bad.
Yeah, that was very bad.
That's something I don't think you should
Yeah, you
follow.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like that's when I stopped.
Yeah.
And then I start to set back my goals, and I was like, it's okay, Daisy. You can't buy it now,
Yeah.
but you can buy it in 10 years' time
Exactly.
with
yeah.
the same or even the more amount of what you have. It's like, okay, I'm going to get something which is 3,000 ringgit now. And I'm like, okay, no, you shouldn't buy this now. You invest the 3,000, make it 30, and you go and get the 3.
That's smart thinking.
Yeah. So I mean, like, that's when I save, you know, tons of monies inside my bank account rather than me spending out the 3,000 now and then me worrying about, oh my god, I spent 3,000. I'm gonna eat Maggie for the next few days.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, that's life, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I that's when I noticed that. That's the biggest lesson of my life.
Yeah, I kind of get that as well. It's really important to just live within your means, you know.
Yeah.
As there's like a Malay saying that's like ukur baju
But-
di badan sendiri.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's really important. No matter who you hang out with, who's in your circle, it's okay if you don't have like the stuff that they have. I mean, they can afford it. Good for them because they live very comfortably.
A note, is that their money or their parents' money?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's difference, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I noticed that when I was at that age, and I was like, it's okay, I can get it.
Yeah, you can. You just have to work
just
for
work
it.
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to work for it. Slowly save up, and you'll get there. So yeah, that's a really important lesson.
That's like a biggest lesson of my life, which made me look back and like, you should stop now. That's how I did
Yeah.
it.
I hope the people listening to this are also learning from this mistake if you're also going through the same situation. Because
Yeah, don't, guys.
I think it's an important lesson as well.
Yeah.
So next, I wanted to ask you, so between your spendings and your savings, is there any tool or app that you use to track these?
Okay, back then I didn't use anything. I just like mind maths lah. I was like, okay, I'm gonna spend 200 today for my phone bill, 300 with my friends, 100 for this, 100 for that, and I messed it up.
Because you just keep all of them in your head.
Yeah,
You
and-
you don't note them somewhere.
And like sometimes I'd be like,
That's bad.
did I spend 100 over here or did I spend
Yeah.
100 over there? And I'm like, when I'm keeping track of it, and I just go missed out. And I don't even know where did the $100 go.
Ah.
Yeah, eventually you would have faced that also back. Yeah, right?
Kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. If you don't keep track of it, you'll definitely forget. Especially like if you only use the money you have in your like savings account.
Yeah.
You have one account for everything. Then the moment you go out, you're like tap, or like, oh, anyone asks you to transfer, you just transfer, and then you don't keep track of it. At the end of the
I
day,
used to
or like
face
end
all
of
of that.
yeah, end of the month, you're like, where did all that money go? And then you don't know because you didn't keep track.
Yeah. So what I started is I started to write it down in a book
Ah.
first eventually. So how do I plan my things is like before the month starts, I know what am I going to spend for. For example, now we are in June. I already pre-planned my things in May.
Okay.
So now I do know what I'm going to spend for me, how much am I going to spend for me, and how much do I have extra.
Ah.
So that's how I write it down back then. And then recent times, like we are Gen Zs, right? So we use app. So I have like this money manager app in my phone. So I just put in my income and I just every time when I go and buy stuff, because I can't be having a notebook with me, right? With a pen and be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, I'm gonna spend 20 ringgit and I'm gonna write it down. No, I just take out my phone and I just be like, okay, once I tap 20, I'm just gonna put like expenses 20 for what?
Ah.
So at the end of the month, I mean not end of the month, at the end of the week, there will be a statement coming out. How much did I spend for what? Entertainment, food, and etc.
Yeah, I used to use one of those apps.
Yeah.
Forgot what the name was, but it's somewhat like that. Like you keep track of what you spend on like entertainment,
Yeah, correct,
maybe
correct.
medical or like food, or like for girls you spend on like beauty and skincare stuff. But then I think I reached the point where I just stopped updating, and then now I went back to embracing traditions and just writing them down
In a book.
Yeah, in a book. Yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
like now it's June. I also like pre-planned my spendings.
Finances.
Yeah,
That's good.
in May, right before I get my pay, because like once I want to know once my income comes in, like what am I gonna spend it on?
What are you at, right? Where
Yeah,
are you at?
yeah.
I mean, like that's what I usually do, lah.
Yeah, I think it helps.
It helps
For
a
me, it
lot, man. It helps a
Yeah.
lot.
So you know where your money goes.
Yeah, I mean, like you don't go out and be like,
Yeah.
you would think that you have 500 now, and then at the end of the month, when you go out, you're not gonna have 500. I just have like $100 left in my account, and what am I gonna do with it?
Yeah. And I think another way that works for me is that for like really important like spending, I take them out in cash, especially for food. Usually I do that monthly. I take out
You
the
cash
amount of
out.
money that I want to use for food, and that's like, so like even if I use up the money in my bank account, you know how crazy spendings can be.
I get
And,
you. I get you.
You know, at the end of the month, I'm like, wait, I still have money for food, so I have them right there in my savings in cash.
To me,
so that's what I do.
I go cashless everywhere, so
Oh yeah, for me, like I get scared.
yeah. I'm like this cashless kind of guy, goes everywhere, just taps the card and be like, okay, spend.
That's so dangerous.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
it's not
that's where-
recommended, guys. Please do not follow, but it's dangerous.
That's where you know you have to keep track of your spending so you don't go overboard.
Yeah,
okay?
that's why I started keeping track.
Yeah, nice. All right. The important thing is that we need to keep track of where all the money goes.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next question is, what financial challenges have you faced, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, it's a huge journey, I would say. Starting as a student, being an employee, an entrepreneur, and etc. Right? I do many things in life right now.
Yeah.
So as a 23-year-old man, I would say that I faced a lot of challenges in saving emergency
Yeah.
funds
Oh, yeah, I get
and
that.
keeping up things for medical, and not only focusing on what I need in life. Okay, this is my personal experience. So when I was studying, my parents were not in Malaysia, so they were visiting overseas. Okay,
Oh.
usually when they go out, they give us their credit card or some authorities to use their finances.
Okay.
So at that time, I had gastric, and I didn't have enough money for me to go to the hospital. So
Okay.
I only had about 100 plus in my account, So if you're looking at that, when you go to a hospital, it's going to cost you about 150. Where am I going to search for the money?
Uh-huh.
So that's when, I still went to the hospital in my university area,
Yeah.
which was quite cheaper because I
Okay.
pre-called them and like I asked, hello, what is the charge that you're gonna charge me? How much is it? And
Yeah.
I made sure that I spent about 60 to 70 bucks on it.
Okay.
So I had the balance to eat for the month, you know.
Uh-huh.
So that's when that are the challenges. You know, like for medical, there's no guarantee that you're gonna have money if
Yeah.
you're gonna spend money like water. So yeah, I mean like that was the worst challenge lah, I would say. My health was put under a risk
Yeah.
where when I had no money. Yeah, what do I do with it? So
Yeah, so it's really important to have like emergency funds.
Yes,
Yeah, I
correct.
think that's something that I started doing as well once I started earning like a stable income kind of. Like
Yeah.
I had to sign up for insurance, and I think that was really
it's
helpful.
a good thing that you did.
Yeah, yeah. Because at one point I did had to be admitted into a ward. Yeah, I remember that last time. I don't know if you were there, but like I haven't been in the office because like I was warded. So thankfully I had an insurance, and other than that, I do have like emergency funds for stuff like usually like car services.
Yeah. Car services. I mean, you can pre-plan your car services, but you know,
Yeah.
it's a machine. Anytime it can
Anytime it can happen,
Yeah.
dude. Like sometimes you need like
What happens to your car tires if it just
Yeah,
blasts
exactly.
out
You
all
need
of
money
sudden?
for that.
Yeah, and it costs like what 500 per piece? Where do you go for that, man?
Yeah, I think you really should allocate like maybe you don't need to like allocate a large amount of money every month for these funds.
100
Like
a month makes 1,200 a year.
exactly. So have some funds for times in need.
Yes,
And you
correct.
never know when that time will come. So having emergency funds is really important, guys.
Yeah.
So, now that we talked about saving money, how do you balance saving for the future, like we said, for like emergencies and like urgent times, and also,
Entertainment.
yeah, for enjoying your life now?
Okay, as I said, I don't do one job, right? I'm
Yeah.
an entrepreneur and I'm also a application developer. So what do I do is, okay, on my perspective is different. It may differ from everyone's perspective, right?
Yeah.
So on my perspective, I prioritize saving my actual funds from my salary to my emergency funds, which means what I get from GRADUAN as an application developer goes and settles all my bills and goes into my emergency funds.
Yes.
So for example, I pay for my car, I pay for my bills, I pay for my Netflix, you know, all these utilities and everything. So I just pay for all of it. And the balance, I put it as my savings. So what I earn from my business is what I make it to spend. And also, putting a note, I don't spend all the money that I get from my business.
Yeah.
I follow a rule
Definitely.
by 50, 30, 20.
So how does that work?
50% is it's my needs.
Okay.
Okay, 30% is what I save, and 20% is like emergency funds for me.
Okay.
It may differ for everyone. You know, there's 50, 30, 20 rules everywhere, but it's like how do you put it? So 50% for me is what I need. So I take out 50% of my business money and I enjoy my life lah, I
Yeah.
would say. So the 30% goes into savings and the 20% is like essential needs. I save it up for cars,
Yeah.
hospitalization and all. Even though if I have my insurance, but when you go to a clinic, doesn't mean that you can use your medical card straight.
No,
Yeah.
even like my insurance as well. There's terms and conditions for it.
Yes,
Like you
yes.
have to be warded to be able to claim.
Yeah.
So
what are you gonna do then? So that's why I put in my emergency funds
Yeah.
and everything lah. So that's how I manage my stuffs. For entertainment, of course, yeah. Everyone needs entertainment.
Yeah.
So
you want to buy nice stuff for yourself. You want to go and travel.
I travel, but I don't buy nice stuff for myself. That's a no lah. I mean, as what I said, even though I think I'm financially good right now, but I don't even go and get luxury items, expensive stuffs, and etc. Because I don't find the need for it now, and I don't find it cool. You know.
Okay,
Cool.
but
Like,
occasionally you do, right? Maybe sometimes
yeah.
you need
I mean, I
like.
just get some perfumes and stuff.
Yeah. I think those stuff are nice.
Yeah, that's the only things that I purchase expensively. Other than that, nah, nothing. I don't
Yeah.
even go to outlets like, Louis Vuitton, Gucci.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I don't think, for me personally, I'm not on that level yet either. So
Same. You know, I don't even consider myself eligible to step into the store and to look at things.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm like, whenever I go in front of the store, I'll be like, you're not there yet. You're not there yet. Step back, get out, and then go get some money
Yeah,
and then go
but
in
there's
there.
like other stores that have like good quality items at like a better price as well.
Yeah.
So it's no problem, not spending at like these luxury branded
correct.
stores. Yeah. So me as well, I can relate to that. But it's just that for me, I don't have side income. I mean, I definitely recommend it if you have you
passion
could fit
towards
it
it,
into your schedule, and if there's like something you can do outside your full-time job, that's really great because it's extra income, right?
Yes,
You get
correct.
extra money to save, you get extra money to spend on yourself or like your family or friends. But like for me, I only get to allocate the money
Yeah,
I
the
get
money you
from
get.
like my full-time job.
Yeah,
And
but-
for me, it works as well. But I live within my means as well.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, like, what do you get? And then you just divide it, like what I said,
Yeah.
50-30-20 rule. You can follow it there, but in your own needs lah.
Exactly, yeah.
So what do you need and what do you spend and how do you save it? So you just put it into 3 partitions and you just do the job
and
there,
then I
and it's gonna be
just
fine.
I just have to remember I can't go over that,
Yeah.
over that amount. That's when you have to be smart.
That's why I set up a limit to my phones. You can use Apple Pay, right? So
Oh,
that's,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So Apple Pay, I just set up a limit where I just only can spend 250. So I just don't go and tap my card everywhere.
You can do that. Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't use Apple Pay.
I mean, if you're
No,
not
I
using
can't.
Apple Pay, I mean, like if you're using QR and there's the banks now has
Oh,
already
yeah, there's
implement
a
this,
limit.
limit stuff. So reduce the limit. Some people they just increase the limit like 10k, 20k, 30k.
Oh, I did
But
that
they
last
don't.
time.
They just go over the limit for spending it.
Yeah.
So for me, I reduce my limit to what I can spend per month. So even to my credit cards and everything, even though my limits are high, I just put it to 2,000 ringgit. You know why?
Okay.
Because then I don't get bankrupt by paying for bills.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess that's another tip.
Yeah.
Set limits accordingly on all
on what you
your
get.
apps or like bank accounts. So yeah, nice tip. Now I think we can we're about to end the session, and
Yeah.
the last question I have for Desi today is, what advice would you give to someone who's just starting to manage their own finances? Maybe those graduates who are also around your age when you started realizing that you had to manage your money.
I think that for me, don't be too harsh on yourself lah. So you gotta take it slow. It's a learning process. If you're failing so many times to save money and you can't do things, it's okay to be like that. I came from there as well. I came from you as well. So don't give up. Start saving slowly. Even though it's 50 ringgit, still do it.
Yes.
But once you have the discipline and consistency, you would see the results soon. And you'd be probably saving a lot of money, and you would know what I am trying to convey and what the society is trying to portray and what is going around you actually. So that's a thing that I think that everyone should know. Like, put yourself in the place, start your discipline, start
Yes.
being consistent. Don't worry, 1 ringgit a day can make you 30 ringgit in a month if you save it consistently.
Yeah.
So consistency and discipline is the key to where you are.
Yeah, I agree as well. Consistency and also discipline,
Yep.
right? Yeah. So thank you so much, Desi, for sharing your insights. I hope that's helpful to all our viewers out there,
Yeah.
especially those who are transitioning into adulthood soon.
I mean,
I've been there.
yeah, I've been there too. Yeah, so all the best, and thank you for inviting me for this podcast session.
No problem.
Yeah, thank
It's
you
nice
so
to
much.
have you with us. See you in the next episode.
Ciao.